Hi, welcome to Math 112 IN3 for the spring 2024 semester at SWIC. My name is Jennifer Simonton and I'm your instructor for this course. And I just like to start the semester off with a quick little introductory video and walk you guys through what you're going to need to do to get started and how you proceed through the semester. So that's what we're going to do today. All right, so first thing that I'm going to show you here, you need to log into your Brightspace. And you'll see something similar to this, and then you should have listed all of your courses that you are enrolled in for this semester. So our course is College Algebra 112 IN3, right? So you're going to click on that to open everything up, right? And then the first thing we're going to look at here is this button. This contains the syllabus that I'm going to walk you through, and then instructions for signing up for my math lab, which is how you're going to do all of your assignments for the most part. All right, so we click on that. There's two documents here, so let's open up the syllabus. All right, so this is the official course syllabus for this semester. The things here at the top just should tell you that that's the course you're enrolled in. And then these links here we're going to take you to the SWIC website that's going to give you information about just general college policies and student references, so like the Success Center, the DAC, the Testing Center, etc. There's also a link to those things within Brightspace itself, but there's two different places where you can go and learn about that. This is just, again, my name. This is an online class. Credit hours is 4. We're starting on Tuesday, January 16th, so hopefully you're watching this no later than that day, possibly before. And then this is just the end of the semester when the spring semester ends. This date I want to point out really quick here. In order to receive a W for this class, the last date to withdraw is listed as Saturday, April 6th. I list it later on the calendar as Friday, April 5th, just to make sure that if you're wanting to receive a W, that you get that done in time. With that being a Saturday, the college would not be open during normal hours, so you'd have to go through that process online. But after that day, you cannot withdraw yourself, nor can I assign you a W. All right, my office hours this semester are on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm in my office from 9 to 9:50, and then on Wednesdays from 1 to 1:50. I understand that those times don't work well for everyone, especially if you are trying to come see me in person. So if you need to meet with me, just send me an email and we can set something up at a different time, or I can certainly meet with you via Teams if that's more convenient. All right, this stuff I'm not going to read through to you. If you want to know more about the description and the prerequisites and the objectives, you can read that stuff on your own. But these are just basically a list of all the different topics that we're going to cover this semester. And this stuff is saying what we're going to accomplish in terms of our math department goals. All right, so here's where we get to some of the more relevant stuff. All right, textbook course materials. Okay, you'll be required to sign up for my math lab. That's not something you have to purchase. That is included with your course fees when you registered. That includes everything that you need, your ebook, your assignments, videos, everything. If you'd like the actual physical copy of the textbook, this is what it is. Also, you're going to need to have a graphing calculator. I would recommend the TI-84 if you already own a different one, as long as it does some graphing and some basic things. Like the TI-83 for the most part is fine. But this is the one that we use when I go through lectures and explain what you have to use it for. All right. You can also, if you don't have a graphing calculator, the library and the Success Center has them available that you can check out for the semester and rent. So you just have to have your SWIC student ID and go into one of those places to check one out if you don't want to purchase one. Grading scale is just the standard 10-point grading scale in terms of percentages at the end of the semester. Right? If you fall between 80 and 89 is a B, 90 and above is an A, 70 is a C, 60 is a D, below 60 would be an F. All right, The assignments are going to contain, we're going to have homework assigned with every section. Collectively for the whole semester, that's a total of 50 points. So each assignment itself is not worth a lot, but that is important for you to keep up in doing it, not just to earn those 50 points, but that's how you learn the material that you're going to need to know for tests. Before each test, there'll be a review assignment in my math lab. For the regular 3-chapter tests that we have, those are worth 5 points a piece, and then there's one more at the end for the final that's longer, so it's worth 10 points for that one. So altogether, that will total 25 points. These test reviews should also be used as a study guide for your test, so if you're wanting to know what kinds of things I should know how to do when I come in and take the test, that should be, you should use those review assignments to focus on. Every question I put on a test comes from, it's very similar to something in these test reviews. Tests themselves, there'll be 3 regular chapter tests worth 100 points apiece, so 300 points total for tests, and the final exam is comprehensive at the end of the semester and it's worth 125 points. So the entire course total number of points is 500. And Brightspace will keep track of those grades as you complete them in the grades tab, so you can check at any time if you're curious as to what your average is. All right, all coursework is done in my math lab, so we'll talk about how to get into that in just a second. The tests, including the final, are given at a SWIC testing center of your choice. So Belleville campus, Granite City campus. All other assignments, homework, and the reviews can be completed on your own. All right, as you know, this is an online course, however, it's not self-paced. Right? There's a penalty if you don't complete homework by the due date, and tests have to be completed by the due date without exception. All right, there's a due dates and assignment calendar that details all of those things that we'll talk about in just a second, so it's easy to keep track of things. All right, so for course navigation, you'll come into Brightspace. We'll talk about how to get into My Math Lab. So once you've done all that registration process, you'll go straight to the My Math Lab tab to do your assignments. All right, however, before you do that, My Math Lab is where you're going to find your homework assignments. Before you begin the homework, you'll need to open, view, take notes on the lecture videos that are in Brightspace in the course content tab. Please do not skip that step. That's the equivalent for an online class of going to class. That's how you're going to learn the content. So you have to find time to do that on your own. The written out lecture notes that I talk about in the videos are also posted as PDFs in the lecture notes folder, or you can just take your own notes if you prefer to do it that way, but they are provided for your reference. So after you have watched the video on that section, or a couple of them at the beginning, there's a part 1 and a part 2, because at that time my software that I was using to record wouldn't let me have a recording longer than 15 minutes, so I had to split it into 2, but that's only, I think, for the first few. After that, it's just 1 video per section. All right, so homework, you'll go to My Math Lab. It'll be pretty self-explanatory on how to click on the assignment and then click on the question and go through and do it. You'll type your answer into My Math Lab, click a button, it'll tell you if it's right or wrong, and then you have an opportunity to try that problem as many times as you want to get it correct. That's how you learn, and you get full credit once you do. All right, however, pay attention to due dates. If your assignments aren't completed by their due date, there is a penalty. Test reviews are set up the exact same way, only they are meant to be a study guide for the exam. And then the tests themselves, there are 3 of them. Each will cover a couple chapters of material, and each test is worth 100 points. You'll take those at the testing center. And to do that, you'll have to make an appointment before you show up. I'll show you how to schedule that appointment online, and you will be required to have a photo ID. It does not have to be a SWIC ID, but it has to be like a driver's license or something to prove who you are. All right, when you get to the testing center, they'll put you at a computer. You'll log into Brightspace, access the test you want. Once you open it, the proctor will come over and put in the password, and then make sure you tell them if you're taking test 1, 2, or 3, so they put in the correct password. You'll click on it, and you get 75 minutes to complete that test. You're allowed to have scratch paper, and because some of the problems are going to require you to write out your work, and then you'll turn that in. You'll click submit on the computer when you're done. You are allowed to use a calculator. It could be a scientific or the graphing, the T84. Okay, however, the restriction on the calculator is it cannot have a CAS, meaning it cannot have a computer algebra system. So the T89 is not allowed. The Inspire, there's two versions of the Inspire. If you have the regular one, that's fine. But if you have the one that says CAS on it, that's not allowed either. And you cannot use an app on your cell phone as a calculator. It has to be a physical calculator. When you're doing your test and you're writing out your work on scratch paper, try to do that in an organized fashion, at least label what problem you're doing. You'll turn that into the proctor and they will return that to me. So that way I will review every question on your test after everybody's taken it, and then that way if you get the answer wrong and my math lab counted it wrong, I can look at your work and see if you deserve partial credit and add some points back at the end. But without your scratch paper, I can't always do that. So that's why it's important to not just, jot things down randomly, but do it in an organized way where I can follow along. All right, the final exam review is same as the regular test reviews. It should be used as a study guide for the final exam, but it's longer, so it's worth more points. And then the final exam, again, it is comprehensive, and you'll have 2 hours to do that one, and it's worth more points. Okay, the last day to take your final exam is Tuesday, May 14th. You may do any assignment early before the due date, but the due dates that are listed on the schedule, after that. If it's homework, there's a penalty. Test reviews you cannot do late because they're meant to be a study guide for the test, so they're due the day the test is due. And then tests you can't take after the due date. All right, so this is just the explanation about the partial credit. If you would like to receive partial credit for wrong answers, just make sure that you are turning in your scratch paper and it's written down in some organized way. And I can find things that I need to find in order to give you partial credit. Late makeup work, again, everything has a due date. You're expected to complete them by the due date. Homework, you are allowed to work late, like if you don't get it done on time. I think mostly homework is pretty much always due on a Sunday by midnight at the end of the week. So if you don't get it started or you don't get it finished by then, you don't have to do the whole assignment in one sitting either. Say you got half of it done but had to come back and do the other half later. Anything that is done late, there's a 15% grade deduction. The deadline for submitting any late homework assignments is the Sunday, May 12th. If you have to miss a test, okay, it's your responsibility to contact me ahead of time to request a makeup. That opportunity is not guaranteed. It'll just depend on the situation, but you have to let me know ahead of time, and it just depends on the issue, okay? But ideally, you will be taking your test on or before the due date listed in the calendar. All right, so here's the schedule, and I have another copy of this as a separate document that's easier to read, but this is kind of your schedule to let you know what you're supposed to do each week and when they're due. Okay, notice up here it says that you are encouraged to work ahead. Okay, do not make a habit of waiting till the due date to do all the assignments. This is just the last day that you have to have it done to not have that 15% penalty. You should be working throughout the week just as you would if you were in a face-to-face class. So there's typically 2 to 3 sections per week, which is pretty manageable. But again, just because they're due on Sunday doesn't mean you have to wait till Sunday to complete them. All right, same thing with tests. Like a lot of people will like, especially early on, if things are moving fast and you're able to, do things that you've done before and it's, not new material for some of you. Some people might be like, okay, I'm done with the first 2 weeks during week 1, and then I did the 3rd week during week 2, so I want to take the test this week. That's fine. Okay, you can, at your own pace, if you want to, finish in, 8 weeks instead of 16 weeks, then go for it. Okay, so everything's available right off the bat. You don't have to wait for things to pop up for availability. You just can't do them late, okay, or there's a penalty if you do. All right, so anyway, this first week, the end of that week will be Sunday, January 21st. That means these assignments are due. End of the next week, the next Sunday, the next 2 assignments are due. The following week, there happen to be 3, and then we get to the week of the test. So notice on test weeks, the only 2 assignments are complete the review, which is your study guide, and then complete the test. Notice the due dates for that week are not Sunday, they are Friday, because you have to be proctored at the testing center and they're not open on the weekend, okay? So they have hours every day of the week, but the deadline for completing a test, if that's the assignment that week, is by the time they be done by the time they close on Friday. Right? And then you move on to the next week, etc. Right? So we have a test week 4, another test week 8, right before spring break. Then after spring break, again, week 12. And on the other handout, this is not hard to read like this. And then finally at the end, this last week, the last 2 homeworks, and then in the spring, our finals week is kind of strange because we end the semester on a Wednesday. So the finals week runs Thursday to Wednesday or something like that. So this will be due Sunday, May 5th. And then after that, the following Sunday is your deadline to have all of any late assignments completed. But during that time, you should be working on this exam review, right? And then your last day possible to take that exam is Tuesday, May 14th, and that's when that review would be due. But you may certainly take it earlier than that, okay? I think technically May, let's see, the 8th is the last day of the semester, so there's quite a bit of time here between the May 5th and the May 14th, right, to get that completed. All right. Attendance policy here, this academic rigor statement just is a reminder that you're going to have to put in some work outside of just completing homework, right? You should be spending time watching videos, taking notes, right? Spending more time than just showing up for tests. For online learning, in terms of attendance, we don't really have an attendance where you have to check in at a certain time or on a certain day. So I just basically monitor, are you keeping up with assignments? Are you logging in on a fairly regular basis, and you're not falling behind, okay? And you're communicating with me if necessary. All right? All right, so that is the syllabus that contains all of that stuff here. So let's go back to that tab. This other document in here is the registrations on how to get signed up in MyMathLab, okay? So that we're going to open up, that's going to utilize these 2 links here, an access code and then the MyMathLab, all right? All right, so these are, just going to open that up and you're going to follow these instructions. Sign into Brightspace, click on that access code, right? When you do that, you're going to then click on this link. This is going to look similar to this. You're going to find your math course. You may have other courses using Pearson, so if there's more than one link there, make sure to do my class that you're finding the one that's for math, for college algebra. This will pop up. You're going to click Reveal Code. Okay, you're going to copy the code you're given, either copy with your mouse or write it down. All right, go back to your course and click on the content at the top. And then you're going to select the MyMathLab link, okay, right over here. Once you click on that, you're going to click on this link that says Pearson LTI 1.3, all right? And then you may then start the registration process. So depending on in past semesters, if you've never used Pearson with Brightspace, you may have to click I accept this agreement. If you have, it'll take you straight to this next step. Right, so you'll see this screen. All right, you have an access code, so you don't need to purchase anything. So you're going to click on the access code, and then it's going to ask for it, and you're going to paste it in there or type it in, and then you should be ready to go. Okay, if you have questions or have trouble with those directions, just send me an email and let me know. All right. All right, so that will need to happen right away. Okay, you can't do any work until you do that. All right, so we've gone through everything in here. So that utilizes those directions that you find in that file, utilizes these 2 links. All right, this next link, this assignment calendar and due dates, we looked at this a minute ago. But if you click on that and then open up this PDF, I would encourage you maybe to print this out. It's just a better format of week 1, what you have to do and when it's due, etc. Your test weeks are highlighted here. I put April 5th here just to make sure you don't run into trouble of being late on that. Technically it's April 6th, but that's the withdrawal date. Okay. All right. All right, so first thing you're going to do is go through your registration instructions, get signed up in MyMathLab. Then you're ready to start the course. By the way, before we do that, before I show you what's in here under course content, this Success Center information link is a free tutoring center we have on campus. It's just information about it, their hours and location, and the student guide. These links will take you to the SWIC website about it. It's located in our liberal arts building if you're on campus, and they do have online tutoring options as well. All right. This link right here for testing center information, so here are the guidelines or the rules. Again, just reading on the website. Here, if you click on this link, this is when you have to make an appointment to take a test. It's going to bring you to here, right? And then that's for placement. So here you're going to come down here and you're going to say, okay, I want to go to Belleville campus. Here are their hours for instructional testing. Oh, I'm sorry, appointment hours over here. So anytime between 9 and 3:30. So notice they close at 5, so their last appointment that they're going to take is going to start at 3:30. Right? If here they close at 4, their last appointment on a Tuesday is going to be at 2:30, etc. Okay, so those are the hours. But if you want to schedule your appointment, you just click on this link, right? This link up here, and you're scheduling for Belleville when you do that. And then it'll take you here and you'll just choose a time, right? Choose a day and then pick a time. Okay, and then you'll fill in the form. Okay, super easy. All right, so let's go back here. And if you would prefer a different location, if you scroll down further on that website page, there's a Granite City option as well. All right, let's see. So let's go here to course content. Okay, so after you've gone through the directions, gotten signed up in MyMathLab, here's where you're going to find your videos and your lecture notes. So all the material for test number 1 is found in this folder. So if you open that up, and then notice here, this is for 1.5, there's a lecture video. For 2.1, there's a part 1 and 2. For section 2.2, a part 1 and 2 because they're short. And then from then on, I guess section 5, there's a part 1 and 2, but after that, I think in the other folders, there's never more than one part anymore. But anyway, those will take you out to a YouTube video. You'll hear me explaining the problems in that section that you'll see on the screen that are your lecture notes. Okay, the things that I'm explaining are these notes. Okay, so if you click on lecture notes and click on 1.5, that's a PDF of all my examples written out, and then the video is my explanation of that. Okay, so doing those things are important before you start in on your homework assignments. Okay, all right. Once you get signed up in MyMathLab and you've done all of that, you're going to go back in to click on this MyMathLab link. This first link here will take you to the Pearson website where you can access other things. But if you just want to say, I don't really care about, looking at everything else that's in that site, I just want to do this homework, right? So you would just click right here on that link if you're going to do 1.5 homework, and this will only work after you've gotten registered. And it'll take you here, and then you're going to click on question number 1. And here's the question, right? Put your cursor here, a template will pop up if you need more here, and you'll do the problem and type in the answer, okay? Down here at the bottom, there's some help buttons. Help me solve this. We'll walk you through step by step how to do this problem. Then it will change the numbers in it, and you'll try it again on your own. View an example. This is what most people use the most. We'll show you an example of something very similar, and you can use it as a guide to help you with that problem. Or get more help. There's a video. That's not my video that you hopefully have already watched. That's a different video provided by the textbook publisher if you need more explanation, or you can read in the textbook some examples right here, take you straight to the textbook. Ask my instructor. If you're really stuck and none of this other stuff has helped, this will send me an email with the link to this exact question. You can just put in that email, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Here's where I'm stuck. All right? So then you'll type in an answer. It'll give you a few tries if it's not right at first, and then it'll eventually either tell you got it right or wrong. If you get it wrong, so you'll get to check your answer, I think like 3 times usually, and after that, if it's wrong, this button will become a similar problem or something like that, and if you click it, it'll just change the numbers. You can keep trying. All right, so there's no limit on how many times you can try until you get something right. And as you do those, then it'll give you little green check marks or a red X to say if it was right or wrong as you go along here. Okay, when you're done, you're going to click Save. Even if you only do, you don't have to do them all in one sitting. It'll save what you do. You can always come back later and pick up where you left off. Okay? All right. All right, so hopefully that has been helpful in terms of getting you started. If you are watching this email, watching this video, then I am assuming you have either seen that announcement that I posted in Brightspace or you saw the email that I had sent out. The next step is to introduce yourself on the discussion board, and if you do that before the end of this first week, you'll get 5 points extra credit added to your final. But if you click on that, I've done mine here, so if you just click on this link, there's my introduction. You can start a new thread and reply, and then that will post yours. Okay. Right now, that's all I have set up in the discussion board. I may, as the semester goes on, I'll never grade stuff in here, but I might use this as a way of having people, if you have a question about something specific, there's likely other people have the same question, so we might kind of try to do that maybe in the discussion board so other people have access to questions about certain things. Okay, so I might, after a few weeks, post something in there and just say, hey, does anybody have a question about this section? I know we did something kind of difficult or whatever, and then we can maybe use that for some type of a class discussion, but that would be completely optional for you. All right. Well, hopefully this has been helpful, and if you have any questions whatsoever about anything at all, please do not hesitate to just send me an email, and we can get that resolved. All right? So I hope you all have a great semester, and I look forward to working with all of you.